Hi, I'm David. Welcome to Bonsai Fly. Today I'll be doing something very drastic to this Ficus microcarpa tiger bark. The base of the trunk of this tree actually lays down on the soil, which gave me an idea for a really cool styling that I could give to this tree. It will need a repot, so I'm removing all the wires that hold it in its current pot. Then I'm using my chopstick to carefully loosen the soil around the edges of the pot so that the tree can be removed from its current pot much more easily. Then I actually remove the tree from the pot. Some of the roots went through the drainage holes, so it was a little tricky. Then I'm removing the remaining soil from the roots with my chopstick. This is the new pot that I chose. It's not as flat, so it's perfect for a cascade or semi-cascade. I think the deep green of the pot will work really well with the tropical ficus. Then I'm preparing the new pot with mesh and wire. Now I'm placing the tree in the pot to see if it'll look good. I think the cascade style works really well for this tree, but as you can see there's this weird aerial root that gets in the way of the design. I decided to take off the aerial root along with the branch that it was coming from. That branch was bent around the trunk and looked kind of weird. Ultimately, it would have disturbed the flow of the final design. For this, I used a saw and my knob cutter. The cut-off branch has roots, so it'll live if I plant it in soil again. The wound that was left by the cut was very large, so I applied some cut paste to help the tree heal faster. I filled the pot with a ground layer of pumice. I then placed the tree on top of the soil. I placed it in a way that it would grow downwards rather than upwards. This is what is referred to as a cascade style or kangai. I secure the tree with the wires. I'm then filling up the rest of the pot with pumice. While you watch me work, I'd like to ask you to like this video, and if you like my content, consider subscribing. These videos are a lot of work and I bring them to you every week for free, so you'd be helping me out a lot. I then work in the soil with chopsticks. A firm contact with the soil is important for good root development, and that is achieved by getting rid of the air pockets with the chopsticks. As you can see, there are roots that haven't hardened off, but they are now above the soil level. So to prevent them from drying out and dying, I covered them in sphagnum moss. The sphagnum moss has been misted with water before, so it's moist. I press it onto the roots firmly. The style of the tree has drastically changed. It looks pretty cool already, don't you think? Of course, I wasn't satisfied, so I started styling the tree. I started on the first major branch. I removed any unnecessary branches in the area, as well as dead bits. Big wounds were covered in cut paste, and wire was applied. Then I'm bending the first branch. I continue to apply wire to branches that I want to keep in the design, and I continue to remove unnecessary branches. Like for example, if there are two branches coming out of the same spot, I'm gonna remove one to prevent swelling. I am trying to give movement to the branches that I want to keep in the design. This creates the illusion that a branch is actually older than it really is. There was this one spot where I cut off a branch a couple of months back, where the wound was sealed with cut paste, but there was still some inverse taper, so I needed to refine the wound. I did that by chopping off the edges with my knob cutter and then sealing it with cut paste. I continued to clean out and wire the tree in the same manner that I explained before. After a while of doing this, the upper half of the tree started to take shape. Then I did the same things to the lower half of the tree. At this point I felt like there was too much going on that distracted from the nice trunk line, so I decided to eliminate the branch that I had styled previously. Some final tweaks, and done. Let's see the final shots.